Hey everyone, Cody here with RSG Outdoors. In today's video, I'm going to take you through 5 super easy fishing hacks, and all you need are some rubber bands. Before we get into today's video, if you haven't yet, or this is your first video with us, go down to the bottom right hand corner of your screen, click that subscribe button, click the bell, that way you can stay up to date on all of our great content. Rubber band fishing hack number 1. I actually stole this one from my dad. My dad travels a lot, and he always takes a fishing rod with him wherever he goes. It can be really cumbersome to travel with a long 6, 7, even 10, 12-foot fishing rod. Fortunately, rod manufacturers make 2-piece rods, like this one. Unfortunately, however, they didn't come with a good way to keep everything together. That's where our friendly rubber band comes in. You can take 1 or 2 and put on the ends, like so, and like so. Your fishing rod pieces will stay together. It doesn't put any undue stress on the sections of your fishing rod, and it won't damage the finish on your rod either. Rubber band hack number 2. If you're like me and you fish a lot, you've probably got a lot of spools of fishing line laying around. Let's see here. Yep, here's some more. And one thing you probably noticed in just holding them up for the camera there, line just started falling off. When you buy a brand new spool of line, it comes with this awesome little tab with some adhesive on it. Unfortunately, if you're like me as well, that thing just vanishes in the blink of an eye, and then your spool of line is left to do whatever the heck it wants. And not long after that, you look something like this. It is possible to prevent this nightmare, however, with, once again, our friendly rubber band. So all you got to do is take your spool of line, coil all the line back onto it since it wants to run away anyway, take a rubber band, slip over the spool. I usually set mine diagonally just so everything stays in place, and you're good to go. The line won't try to fall off or move. Also, if you grab the tag end, you can pull it out from under the rubber band, and only the amount you pull comes out from underneath. So you can clip it, pair of nippers here, and everything stays in place. But you have the length of line that you need to tie your leader or get yourself going, whatever you need. Rubber band hack number 3. So if you do any kind of catfishing, you've probably seen one of these contraptions or some variety of them. They've essentially just taken a spook lure from bass fishing, taken the hooks off, and they're putting it on leader lines to make an inline rattle, which is a pretty ingenious idea. And they sell a lot of different variety of these things. Different colors and all that stuff. Attract fishermen, you know, shiny objects attract fishermen, more so than fish. But then it comes down to, how do I attach this to my leader line? Well, the obvious answer is I could tie swivel, the leader line, piece of leader line to this front eye, another piece of leader line to the back, and then down to my hook. But every time you tie a knot, you introduce a point of weakness to your line. The knot is always weaker than the line it's tied with. So another option is to take your piece of leader line, run it through the front eye, down the body of the rattle, and through the rear eye. And then tie your line. So now you're not introducing that knot. So how do you secure the rattle in place on the main line? A lot of people use tape, but if you use tape, the adhesive can weaken your line, and it can also damage the finish on your shiny new rattle lure. Once again, in comes our friendly little rubber band. You can take the rubber band and come around the lure a couple of times, pull the tag in through, and it's good. It won't move. It'll stay in place, and you still have the ability to slide it up and down if you pull hard enough to whatever length you want and get it as close or as far away from your hook. Rubber band hack number 4. Now, I haven't forgotten about my bass fishermen and panfish friends out there, so this one is for you guys. And it requires a little bit different rubber band. It requires ones like this. These are pretty small. You can get these from craft sections at any of your big box stores, any of your hobby stores. You can also sometimes find them in like dental hygiene sections for like braces rubber bands or whatever. But anyway, what I use them for is if you have soft plastic lures like rubber worms, or if you're skipjack fishing and have jigs, and you rig everything up. This is going to be terrible because I'm going to do it really fast. Go ahead and rig everything up. Okay, well, it could have been worse. Whenever fish grab your lures and stuff, them pulling it along your hook, particularly along jig heads that are barbed, can start to destroy them and they wear out. So jig heads, soft plastics, they're not that expensive, but you don't want to be replacing them continually while on your fishing trips. So you can take one of these little hobby rubber bands and double it up and put it around the head of your hook. What it'll do is it'll hold your rubber worm on a little bit better so it won't slide down as easily. And it'll do the same thing if you put it on a jig head. So I'll go ahead and show you that as well. My cat is over there trying to steal fishing line and lures. So if you slide a jig up on a jig head, you can take one of these hobby rubber bands, double it up, put it over the jig head, and there you go. And now it's not as easy to pull off. And that'll make your soft plastics, your jigs, things like that, last a little bit longer. Rubber band hack number 5. So this one is if you happen to have a fishing rod that doesn't come with a built-in hook keeper, or if, like on this rod here, the hook keeper has snapped off. What you can do is you can take a rubber band, you can come down, and I wouldn't recommend doing this along the actual body of the rod. Come down to the handle or where the reel seat is. Take the rubber band and just bring it around and pull it through itself. So it looks like that. Now that rubber band can act as a hook keeper for you, and you don't have to put your hook through the eyes of your fishing rods. Nice little improvised fix that doesn't require you to do any kind of craziness to your rod. It's not going to damage anything, and that's just as secure as having a hook keeper. I actually do this for some of my rods, whether they have a hook keeper or not, because it secures the hook better than a hook keeper that's going to allow the tip to scratch up your fishing rods. And of the 5 rubber band hacks that I've shared with you guys today, this is by far my favorite. Not my most used. The one putting rubber bands around spools of line, that's definitely my most used, because otherwise it makes a mess, which frustrates me. But this one is by far number 2. The second most used, and it is my favorite. So, if you liked today's video and you want to see more like it, we've got a couple more videos posted up here in the comments. If you haven't yet, make sure you go down to the bottom and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time on RSG Outdoors.